Very welcome here to the first of the national finals. My name is Daniel McGee and I will be commentating along with Chloe McGee here for our first singles final, and we have Sophia Noble taking on H.SHOCHAN. So Sophia Noble looking to defend her title, and H.SHOCHAN in her first senior final here at the 2026 Nationals. Chloe, welcome, and what's your thoughts on this final?
I think it's a very interesting one. You know, you've obviously got Sophia Noble, very experienced international player at this stage, and she's taken on the very young and talented H.SHOCHAN. So it's a good fight for Hannah to see where she is against one of the international players. And I think for Sophia, everybody knows when you play nationals, you always get a bit tense and a bit nervous. So it's up to her to show how good she is today.
Yeah, and we saw some good matches earlier on in the semi-finals. Sophia got a test from O.FLYNN. It was 3 games with Sophia coming out in top 21-11. And on the other side, again, a very good semi-final between H.SHOCHAN and Ciara Dwyer, 21-17, 21-14 to Hannah. So both had a good test earlier. I don't know if you've seen the matches, and what were your thoughts on them?
Yeah, no, I didn't see Hannah's semi-final, but I did see Sophia playing against Shifra. And again, like, these are obviously all these girls are trained in the National Centre.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right,
they're our
Sophia
next generation of women's singles players, and it was a very good,
and
very good
left,
semi-final. I thought
H.SHOCHAN.
Shifra she played very well. She's
H.SHOCHAN
another young player, and she's quite raw, and she came in and she gives Sophia a really good fight.
And here we go, and we've got Derek Cray doing service judge and leading the match here
Service
today.
over.
Got Dave
One
McCune
love.
sitting on umpire seat, so 1 love start there to Sophia Noble. Here we go.
This is the thing, you know, for the
love.
for the younger players, it's always very nervous. You're in the first time in the final. Hannah, what is she, 15 years of age? But isn't it great? It's such a great opportunity for her to go in and just play free, no pressure. Brilliant shot.
Service over. 1-2.
I think sometimes you watch these kids in the underage competitions and they're so nervous they don't actually get their best badminton out. Whereas today Hannah can go in and just
Service
show how
over.
good she is.
3-1.
Yeah, and of course Sophia had a very good start to the year, reaching the quarterfinals of the Swedish International and played very well over there. And I know that Hannah has the French under-17 coming up, so both these girls well used to international badminton, but there's always something special about the nationals.
Service over.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think
2,
Sophia Noble,
4.
she's been on a upward. You know, she's been going upward in her development for the last number of years, and she's starting to perform very well now on the international circuit. So, like, there's no doubt that LA 2028 is the big target for Sophia Noble, and you know, if you were in her shoes, you'd be putting everything into that right now. You'd be giving it, because really, Olympic qualification now, it's started. You have to be in a good position after this year to be in the draws for the Olympic qualification year. So, you know, it's massive. It's a massive opportunity, and for any young player like Sophia, that has to be the big target. And as you say, for Hannah, you know, she's gone on also playing international badminton, maybe at a different level right now, but again, the target there has to be the underage medals, the Europeans.
Yeah, and she had a great experience
very good.
last year competing in the European Youth Olympic Games, and obviously there's the Youth Olympic Games falls in 2026, so there's a good carrot there for all these young players coming through, good chance to get international exposure. And you know, you've been involved in those Youth Olympic tournaments. They're fantastic for the player development and to give them a taste of what it's like to maybe play in these major championships in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's such a that's very good. Again, Sophia just waiting for a chance there. But yeah, they're so lucky to have that. I think back, you know, many moons ago, whenever I used to play underage badminton, there wasn't the Youth Olympic Games, and now they have this, and it's almost like a mini Olympics. You know, I was there with Hannah's sister Michelle, and what an experience for young players. It is just literally like a mini Olympic village. They have all their physio, all their support, and such a good event to target a medal. It's another great shot there by Hannah
Service
Shokin.
over. 4-9.
Yeah, you'd have to say it's a real characteristic of Hannah. She's a really good shot maker. Equally, her sister Michelle, fantastic player, was her Young Player of the Year last year. Would be maybe more renowned for running down shuttles, keeping the shuttle in play, where Hannah has these one-shot winning ability. So slightly different styles, but both very effective.
Yeah, Hannah's definitely, she's very talented with her racket. She has a very, very good hand, and you say maybe it goes for too much because she has such good shots. And then you're chatting about comparing her to her sister, which I'm sure nobody really likes to be compared to their sister, but Michelle definitely has that really big work rate, and she'll run down a lot of shuttles. But I think here in this situation is where, again, she's only 15, but she's going for a lot of shots, and Sophia, she's going to grind out the rallies a bit more.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Yeah, and Hannah had a really good season herself last year. Of course, she represented Ireland in the European Under-17 Championships, but also went all the way to the semi-finals of the doubles in the Under-19 with her sister at Lithuania, and also she was on the podium at the Danish Junior Under-17, which is a very high-profile event. So she's making good leap forwards in both singles and in doubles. She plays along with Amira Pender at under-17 level, and they've had some fantastic results, reaching even the semi-final of the Irish under-19 last year.
Yeah, they're really dominating at that age in Ireland anyway. Amira and Hannah, and you have your Carol Joy as well, who's obviously, these three girls are doing very, very well. Whoa. It's tough. I think the speed is just a wee bit higher here than Hannah would like.
Yeah, this is again something Sophia did very well in the semi-final. She's making that court really big.
Yeah.
You can see when she's at the net, she's playing these fishing drops, bringing them right all the way into the front court, and then opening it up with these flat pushes to the rear court. So she's making the court big for Hannah to cover at the minute, but Hannah is very much chasing the shuttle as much as possible, but Sophia controlling the rallies, you'd have to say.
Yeah, she's just playing that higher speed at the minute, and as you say, she's getting Hannah into the deep corners, which we all know in women's singles is very, very hard to get out of. But Sophia is a very smart player. You know, she plays tactically a good game. Sometimes her shots might put her in bad positions, but she's playing a very, very smart game.
Service over.
Very far wide.
7-15.
There's one thing I would like to see Sophia bring into her game. I think, you know, if you go up the levels, you're saying that she's bringing in really, really close drops. And I've said this to Sophia before, like you want to see her be a wee bit more dangerous on the net, you know, whereas those good spin net shots, as she used the net, she's using her cross nets, and sometimes you feel like she's just playing too many, you know, shots just to the backcourt, be brave on the net. And I think in a game like this is a good opportunity for Sophia to go in and try that and try and get in and be dangerous on the net.
Yeah, and similar in her overheads, just being that little bit more dangerous to attempt like the cross sticks and the more intricate, the more difficult shots.
Yeah, like there again, like she's waiting, letting the shuttle come, go to the shot and put it on the net, go to the shuttle and put it on the net card. It's a big, big difference when you get to international level ladies singles. And that's where Sophia Noble wants to be. She wants to be competing with the best girls in Europe for sure.
Service over. 17-9.
Yeah, it's the right idea.
18-9. $19-9.
Yeah, so a very controlled start here from Sophia. Seems to be just controlling the rally, moving Hannah around and not rushing any of the points. Just happy to make sure that she's keeping the shuttle over and in, and generally we're seeing unforced errors then from Hannah as she tries to create a winner.
I think the court feels quite big on her side and quite small on Sophia's side for her right now.
Service over.
There's something to Hannah, like she likes to play a lot of cross, and sometimes she's playing herself, well, a lot of the time she's playing herself out of position, whereas Sophia can just put that cross on the net or put her into that straight corner, and it feels that the court is really, really big. Whereas if she changed that play up a little bit and kept it a little bit more straight, maybe she could play herself into these rallies more.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Hannah being a little bit smaller, and you know, you weren't exactly blessed with huge height either in your day, so like you had to work a lot on punching these shuttles straight and only making your crosses really when you have the opportunity to win the rally or find the gap. So it'll be interesting to see if Hannah can work that out now in the interval, if she can find a way to try and, you know, make Sophia try and hit cross, make her work the long distance of the court. So far it's been, as you said, Sophia just soaking up these rallies and then waiting for Hannah to play an out of position shot and taking it over, you know.
And that is it's the tactical side of the game that's so important at this next level of ladies singles, that you need to be aware of what you're doing, the shots that you're playing, what is coming off these shots. If you feel like every time you're playing cross, Sophia is putting you in those corners, something needs to change. And I think for young players, you know, sometimes they don't change quick enough.
Yeah, Sophia's now moved up to like 135 in the world. She's like 26 in Europe. She's now going to be in these major championships, the Europeans, potentially, you know, get an opportunity to play in her first World Championships, hopefully later in the year. So it's one thing getting into those events. Last year was her first time. Then you want to start to try and win rounds in it, because, as you said, there's so many steps to the ladder in ladies singles. And her reaching the quarterfinal of the international series in Sweden was a step up for her, where she's progressed further at that level event. But above that, you've got Challenge and World Tour, so all building steps towards the main goal.
It is, and there's no doubt that's where Sophia wants to be. Like, they're all going to Azerbaijan tonight. Like, that is the commitment of these players. They're playing their national championships this morning, and they're on a plane to Azerbaijan tonight. And for Sophia Noble, I think her game's in a good place, but now it's about making everything more dangerous. You know, those shots from the backcourt, do they need to be quicker? Do they need to have more angle? On the net, does it need to be more dangerous? And I think that's where she needs to sit down with her coach now and see what small improvements can she make to her game to make sure that she's getting into these top ranked tournaments, because that's going to be so important in Olympic year.
Oh, Hannah,
Yeah,
just
unfortunate the shuttle there
Service
actually went
over.
in.
1 love.
probably the right decision to
Yeah.
target the body
Yeah,
because Sophia was really chasing across the court, so that would have made the winner.
Correction.
But
1 all.
just heading long off the back line.
And you've seen a lot of that actually today, especially in Sophia playing Shifra there
Service
again.
over.
She got it right this
2
time, but it was a
1.
close one.
You know, as the shuttle's coming down my angle, there was a lot out the back.
And you know from playing Irish international here, when the courts are
3
set up this direction, there
1.
is a small little bit of drift to
Yeah.
deal with, where it moves a little bit left to right across the hall. And maybe it's something at, you know, international level that
Service over.
is that little bit different than
2
playing your home
3.
domestic events. You don't only just have, you know, your opponent to play, you also have to adapt to the way the hall is playing. So with these drifts, sometimes it goes a bit further to the left or a bit further to the
Service
right, so
over.
you have to identify
4
that very
2.
fast what way it's going to be.
Yeah, it is, and as you say, it's the international tournaments. You're dealing with a whole lot of other factors than it. The difference, as you could say, is playing somewhere like Baldoyle where the shuttle flies so perfectly.
Perfectly.
Service over.
Yeah, I know.
3
We used to always
4.
joke, you know, with international players whenever we were turning around. They said, "Oh, we used to love playing in Baldoyle because the shuttle just flew so perfectly."
Yeah, and like for those at home, you also have the lights facing you when you're in the indoor arena. That takes a little bit of adjusting to now. By the time you get to the semis and the finals, you probably have made that adjustment.
Yeah.
But all it takes is one small change in the aircon for the shuttle to start to move a little bit differently throughout the game.
And I actually really liked that rally there by Sophia. She went in there and she actually tried to spin it on the net, got the left and played a really, really good attacking shot. I think that's what I would like to see Sophia Noble do more. Really challenge herself to be more dangerous as a singles player. She has this really good running game now, and now she needs to add to it. That's unlucky. It was a good shot by Hannah. It's
5
just very unfortunate.
4.
But we've definitely seen at the start of this game, Hannah has been attacking a lot more straight and maybe sometimes on the body,
Yeah.
not as much on the cross, and that has helped her at the start of this game. Yeah, again, a good straight drop at this time, back on the cross. Once she starts to go back to the cross
4.
shots, it's just opening her up too much.
And again, it's something that Hannah can sit down, watch this video back, see how many times that she's getting opened up by playing those cross shots, and Sophia just playing her on this very simple straight. That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Cross, Sophia plays the straight, and then
7
Hannah's in
4.
trouble. But again, Sophia has a lot more years in her game than Hannah, so it's a good learning curve for Hannah. And I think they're very lucky that, you know, these young players have the likes of Sophia Noble and O.FLYNN and the girls above them to play against. It's something that we didn't all have the luxury back 10 years ago in Ireland. So they're
over.
such a great group of women's singles coming through now.
7.
It's lovely to have 6 women's singles rather than 1.
Yeah, very competitive,
Yeah.
this discipline especially. And all girls that are out there competing internationally from under 15 all the way up to, you know, the senior athletes. So,
That's
yeah,
a great shot.
it's a very heavily parked discipline at the minute, but that internal competition is something that we've always craved for. So
Yeah.
it's brilliant to see, and with all of the work that's going on with the development team and the Women in Sport projects, we're now starting to see, you know, good depth of girls coming through at international level. Of course, Shifra winning a European under-19 medal was maybe a big breakthrough for us for at that top level. S.HOCHAN winning the Lithuania Junior last year. Nicole Joy winning Swedish Youth Games. We're starting to see, you know, more depth of results at international level.
6.
And even go down as far as Carol Joy. Was she runner-up in the quadrangular this year as well, or last year?
Last year, yeah.
Another fantastic women's singles player. Again, she's playing up the middle there. Like, I would just like to see Hannah be a bit tactically more smart. I know it's hard when you're out there and it's the court feels very big, but change it up, you know, try something different. That's a good shot.
That's that straight attack that you were asking for.
Yeah, very good. 'Cause
7.
again,
10.
Sophia, she's so used to coming cross, she's almost not holding on the straight.
So 7-10. These are important points now, not just to give that too much of a lead to Sophia going into the interval. Make her think a little bit. That's a good shot.
Good rally, yeah.
8-10.
Plum on the back line there from Hannah.
She was take her time, followed up with another good rally. It's a good shot by Sophia.
Yeah,
Service
very
over,
good, very accurate that
11-8,
cut.
interval.
That's a really important phase of the game now, because Hannah has got herself within 3 points of Sophia, so you kind of feel for her to give any chance here, she needs to win the first 2-3 points. You know, test Sophia. Of course, when you're playing your nationals, if you're playing against a younger player and they suddenly start to get close, it does create a little bit of doubt in your head. But if Sophia gets 2-3 points here, then she completely relaxes, and it's going to be a struggle for Hannah. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes after the interval.
20
Yeah, I think
seconds.
Sophia definitely now. She's
20
obviously
seconds.
the oldest one out of these girls that is playing, but she has the most solid game. She has the steadiest game out of them all. So when she does get nervous, you could see in her game against Shifra, she was able to go back and rely on her work rate, rely on getting shuttles back. And sometimes that's enough when you're really nervous and you get it into court. And Shifra did go for a lot more. That's a good shot.
Yeah, this is what you've been asking for, that urgency on the front court.
Yeah. There's there again, yeah. See there, she can play the net, she can take the net,
Service
use the
over,
cross net, but she's looking to use the backcourt
11.
again. And it's not a bad option, but because she uses it so often.
And that second net shot there, you felt was a bit safe
Yeah,
again.
too safe, yeah. Especially in a game like this, I don't see why she can't go in and try and use a bit of risk.
Again, Hannah getting a bit of luck on the
11.
body there.
Yeah, definitely a better tactic against Sophia is to open up with her attack on the straight or the body, because she's going for too much cross.
There's
Good for
Hannah,
Hannah,
yeah, really looking for the net cord, as you had said before. Good power to get out of the rear corner as well.
Yeah, good stroke, good shot. Oh, wow.
Oh, had done everything right in that rally, you would say, and then had the opportunity maybe just come in and push Sophia one more time flat into the corner, or even maybe be a little bit quicker onto that and look to kill that.
Yeah, yeah. See again now, you go on, keep going, and she's letting Sophia back into it.
And do you think that is maybe a lack of speed or just the urgency to go and look for?
I think it's both. I don't think she's used to doing it in training. She's obviously would need a bit more power in her legs as well, but I think it's probably training. You know, you get that instinct from the training that's like smash, kill, forward.
Very good tell.
Of course, you need to have two options, but when she's getting there, she's high both times. I think both times there she could have killed that shuttle and would have made it hard for Sophia. I think also she's killed quite a few shots out, so she's going to be nervous when she gets to the front court, but oh, that's a
Out. Service over.
Just a little bit of tension in the arm, maybe.
13.
yeah, you know, that's what happens when it gets close. These things can happen. When it's not close, you know, Sophia doesn't feel the pressure even on her serve. See again, that's
That's
a
that
very
straight
good stroke.
smash.
Yeah, when she
12.
you can
13.
see Sophia's she's waiting so much for this cross, and it's so nice to see Hannah has changed that, has seen that.
Yeah, she's adapted well, you have to say, and even what we talked about there when she was 11-8 down at the interval, she
Yeah.
came out really well and got it all the way back to 11-10. So
Misjudged that one.
Service over. 11. Sorry, correction. 14. 12.
now, if you're out there coaching Sophia now, what you would be saying to her is just raise the tempo now.
Exactly.
You're
Put the
14-12.
speed. She's almost come down to Hannah's speed.
Yes.
You know, she's obviously won the first game. She feels comfortable, but because the speed has come down, now you can see Hannah's able to play. Whereas I would be just telling her to go in there off the serve, bring the speed up from the first shot.
Yeah, because she does have
She
a
has
speed
it,
higher
yeah.
than
Yeah.
Hannah, but
But
she's
you see here, look, she's just surviving. But is she feeling a wee bit tense?
15.
Maybe.
12.
And by Hannah giving her points like this and missing those shots, Sophia will grow in confidence.
yeah, 15-12 now.
good stroke on the net. You know, put her straight there on the net.
16-12.
And there she just got that, what we talked about, that 3-4 point cushion.
Yeah.
And when you've got a game under your belt and you are that physically bit more stronger than your opponent, it's a very good position to be in. And now he's starting to read that body smash a bit better as well.
Good stroke again on the net.
Yeah,
And then
much
she
earlier.
gets the left out. You know, that bit of spin, a bit more dangerous,
17-12.
not just looping the shuttle on the net. That's the difference. See, Hannah's a bit tired there now.
Yeah, and
But
to
she's
be
played a good game here in the second game.
yeah, and she's been attacking a lot, which she needed
Yeah,
to do
she
to win the
needed.
game. But that does take its toll on you when you're working as hard as that for as long as that.
But then that's again where she needs to now go back to her training, and she sees that's the speed that she needs to train at. So now that's the speed, or that's the speed she needs to play at. So that's the speed she needs to be training at. She has it in her. She just needs to keep doing it now every day in training. Good stroke again, unlucky.
Very unlucky. That was a close on the line. And I convinced that one was I think the
So
line
it was
judge got that
just
right.
out,
It was
yeah,
just wide.
out. We're sitting straight on this line here, but very close. Oh,
Very good return of serve.
Service
Played
over.
right onto the net court.
14-18.
Because it was a clever serve from Sophia across the body, but that's Hannah adapted her grip well and just played onto the net court.
Service over.
Cheap point there, Chloe.
yeah. I think, you know, again,
Bit of tiredness maybe.
tiredness, and you know, if you're serving high, I think she needs to be really, really set up. I know she is scared of the slice coming because Sophia's won off that a couple of times, but you know, the straight smash is.
Yeah, she's got great joy with that over this game. And we just talked about the straight smash, and
Yeah.
it's played perfectly.
Match point 14.
So 6 match point for Sophia Noble, looking to retain her national title.
Oi.
That's the quality of shots we've been asking for. What a fantastic one to finish on.
Yeah, well done to Sophia. You know, you have to admire Sophia. She went out there. She played a good weekend. It's never
Match
easy
won
when
by
you're the
Sophia Noble,
defending champion and have to go out and do it again.
21-14.
Yeah, no, a solid performance from her, and you know, a great match there from H.SHOCHAN. Like a brilliant weekend for her to get some of these games against the senior players just before she heads off to France. So you know, she'll be competing in that competition, and it's a very high level. And you know, Badminton in France at the minute is doing really well. So for her to get that match against Sophia and a final where there's a bit of pressure, you know, great learning for her. But yeah, again, well deserved to Sophia Noble. Defended her title and performed very well.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, it's these matches with pressure. I was chatting to one of the players there in the stands, and they're like, "Yeah, I was so nervous when I was playing in the first round." And I was like, "Do you ever get that in training?" I never get that feeling in training. So this is, you know, that's the difference, and you have to find a way to replicate that in your training, is get that pressure.
So that is the first of our finals concluded, and we're really looking forward to what has the potential to be a really, really good final coming up next, where we've got P.WOODS with R.MCKENNA taking on O.FLYNN and S.FLYNN in the final of the women's doubles. Paige, defending champion, along with her sister Rachel from last year, different partner this year in Roisin. Roisin's had a great weekend as well. She's going to feature in the mixed doubles final later with Brian O'Mahony. Had a brilliant performance in the semi-final earlier, looked very good on court. So this should be a great final. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I was chatting to Roisin's dad actually earlier. He's very, very proud that she's in 2 finals of the nationals. He did have to get in there that he won it though before. So
yes, yeah, Eugene McKenna has of course won the.
Yeah, he said he has 3 men's doubles titles, but he had 3 good partners.
Yeah, I think Eugene maybe underselling himself a bit as
Yeah.
well. Himself and Graham Henderson, of course, very good.
Yeah, he said Mike O'Meara was one of his partners.
Yeah.
And Michael Watt, I think he said, was the other one. But yeah, so Roisin, her dad, obviously a very, very good player back in his day. But yeah, this is an interesting final. I think I watched the 2 semi-finals. I think Orla and Shifra had a really tough semi-final against Kate Frost and Laura Heary. It was a good battle. Your typical ladies doubles 3 sets, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this. As you said, Paige won it last year. Roisin, very physical player, good doubles player, so it'll be interesting now to see how the the two Flynns go in and play another tough doubles after actually only really probably about an hour ago they finished their semis.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, and Shifa's also, of course, been involved in the singles. Had that long 3-game match against Sophia in that. So yeah, no, it'll be a very interesting match. On this match, we have also got Cal McGriffin on the chair, and we have Seamus Halpin on the service judge chair. So two experienced umpires and service judge.
Yeah, for sure. Seamus has done a lot of international tournaments from the very top level down. I think definitely there's a lot more Irish umpires now in the international scene as well, which is brilliant to see. Such an important role.
Yeah, it's great to see them when you're at the World Tour and you see the Irish flag out there. Seamus has had some really high-profile matches this year, and again, that level of experience, then he can pass that back on to the umpires that he's working with here on the domestic tournaments. You know, and Caramel, another umpire who has been covering a lot of matches, and you know, she can gain the experience and sharing the experiences that he's had, you know, at the world elite level. Of course, the new one they're all talking about is the shot clock coming in.
Yeah, I've seen that actually in Indonesia. It was interesting to watch it being carried out. I think it's good. I actually think it's good because there is times you're watching badminton, and I'm a badminton fanatic, and you're just like, it's taking too long.
Okay.
So, you know, getting the players moving in between points, I think it's a good thing. Now, that's coming from a spectator point of view. It's not coming from a playing point of view where they probably are really, really tired and need that 10 or 15 seconds more.
But interesting now that you can actually, you know, go get that quick towel down when you really need it. And, you know, you've played in some of those Asian tournaments before, and the hall is so warm.
So warm.
So it's actually a benefit for the umpire because there's less mopping and there's less, you know, slowing down the game if they can go and use it properly for the right reason and not try and break the rhythm of their opponent, but just to get that quick towel.
Definitely is. It's I think it definitely adds. I think badminton needed it in some of the games. There is people that just walk around too long. It takes too long between points, and then you're almost zoning out, and then you're coming back in for 20 all. So for me, I think it's a good thing. I'm sure the players won't agree, but
yeah, I guess you know, in the space of this next 6 months while they're trialing it and putting it to test, you know, we'll get a good bit of feedback on it. Of course, not implemented here, but it's going to be something that's going to come in the future.
Yeah, because there are certain players that actually like to get on with the game and keep it going fast, and then there's other players that like it to be a bit slower. So it'll be help others and not help.
So we've got P.WOODS,
former national champion on the far side. O.FLYNN has won this event with Jenny King in the past, and on this side page, of course, the defending winner of this title. So, you know, there is good experience on both sides of the court there, and Shifa, you know, we've seen so much of her in singles, so it'll be interesting to see how she fares out in this doubles format.
Yeah, I always think she's an interesting one to watch in doubles. She's obviously very, very much singles player. She's a trained singles player. She likes to play singles, and then getting her into these doubles formations it's interesting to see. She's such a raw player. I think Shifa is so talented. She can come out with any shot. And actually, it was funny. Me and Eugene were actually chatting about earlier. He was saying about Roisin being in the final, and it's like Shifa can play any shot from any part of the court. She just has that natural ability. You can never be sure what she's going to play.
Yeah, extremely dangerous, and
dangerous,
when you have a player like that as well, and you're more so, I'd say, a specialist in doubles and mixed, they can throw these shots that you're not expecting, like a cross punch clear or a cross cut, and because she's doing it with so much angle, it's very, very difficult to read and to play against.
And I think when she gets confident, Shifa, obviously, her game is extremely, extremely good, but then it can work to her disadvantage too when the pressure does go on. She probably goes for things that she shouldn't go for, so it's very important for these two girls, Paige and Roisin at the start here, to really keep this close, to keep the pressure on the two Flynns.
The one thing I would say about both Paige and Roisin, and you can see it in the mixed semi-final later, both happy to move forward and get on the net and to cut out. Paige has a very good read of the game from the front of the court, cuts out a lot of shuttles, But Roisin really impressed me in the semi of the mixed earlier, how much she was cutting out and killing off. So both very strong in the front court area. You would have to say the Flynns would probably open up the court more than trying to beat them in the front court.
Yeah, I think, you know, women's doubles, obviously, the service situation is probably less important than in like a mixed doubles. But the Flynns are definitely going to try and just open that up straight away. Whereas Paige and Roisin, they both have a good service situation. Paige especially, you know, she really reads the game well. Is she dangerous enough when she reads it? That would be my thing to Paige, is like, what are you doing once you do read it? Are you getting it on the floor? Are you killing it? What are you doing with the next shot?
Yeah, like there's a good example.
Yeah,
the first intercept and then what you do with the next one.
Yeah. As you can see there, like the Flynns, they're happy to play a big open game. They want it to be long, they want it to be hard. It's up to these girls now to try and find a way to not let them play like that. Do they find the net? Try it and keep it below tape. You know, make Shifa and use her double skills rather than letting her play the big open game.
Yeah, commanding lead here, 8-2 for the Flynns, and they've kind of followed that pattern so far.
Yeah.
They're playing them deep into the long corner, kind of almost counter badminton more than anything. That's a great retrieval there.
Yeah. And Orla does. She works hard. She works really, really hard. You know, she sets up good positions that Shifa can follow her, and that's important when you're playing with a player like Shifa, that you keep the structure. And I think she got that. You know, she's played with M.RYAN for quite a few years, and M.RYAN would be very much a player like that. You know, she keeps structure in the game.
Oh, what a shot! Roisin did really well to get that one back. She deserved that point because Roisin was at full stretch there and did really well to play the net, and then was back up looking for the next one. So
yeah, physically very strong, Roisin.
yeah, you can see very much the Flynns are avoiding playing through the racket on the return of serve, and anything that they're returning is being pushed hard and flat into the rear corners to prevent it becoming a 1-2-3 game.
Yeah, Paige played a good shot there, but there was no pace on it, so the two Flynns were able to come forward. Even though she's doing the right shot with a bit more pace, then it's more dangerous. But just floating it over like that, that's opening the court up straight away for Orla and Shifa just to come in again with their pace and push the girls back. Good shot below tape, make her play.
Yeah, good save there.
Yeah.
They need to try and just take 2-3 more points, close the gap off. Don't let the Flynns go into the mid-game interval with a big lead. Oh, it's a very strong forearm from Shifa.
Service over.
At the minute, you can just say that the Flynns just have that bit more in the
physicality.
Yeah, that, and also I think the structure. You know, they're playing the long, hard game. There's the two girls are. What they're trying to do, I think, is right, but they just need to put more on it. There needs to be, if they are going to play soft, it has to come down soft, not up above tape.
Yeah, it's very different from their mixed games earlier and from their previous semi-final, because they were getting a lot of shuttle off the return of serve, where now the shuttle's going straight down into those low corners, and they're having to work. They're almost starting to rally on defense each time. So they're going to have to change that now and be more ready for these long pushes to the long corners.
Yeah,
so they're not starting under pressure.
Yeah, I don't think the Flynns have changed anything in the first 11 points. They don't need to. They definitely don't need to. But the two girls haven't reacted well to that. You know, they're just letting them come with the hard.
Yeah.
11-5.
And we seen there at the mid-game interval, the Flynns have their sister Nasa out helping them. Nasa, also a player who's grown up to the underage system, played for Ireland at underage level.
Yeah, and there you see that's a good return by Paige. You know, a bit more pace, going below tape, then they have to do something. It's not going up and letting the girls just come in and play hard. Yeah, better by the girls.
Yeah,
definitely.
A lot more aggressive.
Yeah, because now they're not just letting the Flynns come at them, they're going at them with a bit more attack, a bit more speed on the shuttle. Very, very important.
Interesting to see now, do the Flynns adapt or do they continue with the tactic?
Yeah, and again, you know, this is where that could be a winner or it can be in the net by Shifa.
So 2 points in a row for Roisin and Paige, just closing down that gap.
Unlucky.
She read that so well.
Service over. 12-8.
And even if you miss it, you have to go for them because
Absolutely,
that's the right idea. You know, push, look for it. Whew.
Shifa does generate a lot of power.
Yeah.
She really, really does.
Just the opening shot of the rally, a cross backhand smash. Not your stereotypical shot that you see in a ladies doubles final, but that was an interesting one to start the rally.
And I actually think, because like obviously I'm living in Donegal now, so I watch a lot of the live stream. You don't actually see how hard Shifa's hitting it until you're sitting here courtside.
Yeah, there's
For a young girl, like, she is generating a lot of power.
Yeah.
And Orla too. Orla is also, I think, just Shifa here is getting a lot of the rear court play.
Yeah, Orla's stronger as well.
Yeah.
And quite solid on her defense.
Yep.
So
I think those years of playing with Moya have really benefited Orla in the structure for doubles. Like I can see, I think earlier when I was watching it, you know, she really keeps the structure, and it gives Shifa the freedom to play and do what she wants to do, and that's where Shifa's good.
yeah, when she's nice and relaxed and can play free.
Yeah, whereas if she has to think about too many of the positions and stuff, I think then it becomes more difficult for her, whereas Orla does that for her. Good return, really good return. And this is what Roisin and Paige need to do. They just need to keep being smart about the returns, what they're doing off the attack. Are they bringing the girls? Are they moving them when they're attacking? Don't let them stand and hit. Again, just bringing the pace out of it, and then it becomes more difficult for the Flynns.
A lot of very easy winners there. Where the Flynns have actually tried to do the right thing. You see where they're trying to cut it back into the middle and cut down the angle, but that one you don't have to be overly aggressive with it. You just be safe.
Definitely not. Oh.
12-14.
Yeah.
We can't see that one because we're on the other side.
Very difficult to see from our angle, but a good read from Roisin where she's setting up on the straight from that straight defense.
Yeah.
She read it well again, but I think she's right to go for it.
Yeah.
You know, if she doesn't go for it, that's going to be long corner and Paige going to be under pressure, so she has to keep looking for that.
Absolutely, they have to do that because they were 11-4, 5-6 down in the first game, and they, you know, they've absolutely changed it around here now, and they're
a lot braver.
Yeah, and they're playing better rallies.
That's a great return again there from Shifa, just to find that gap. You need to be very strong in your forearm to do that. Hit long backhand to long backhand. Because it was a good hard press off return of serve again from Paige into the long corner.
Yeah, I think, you know, they're playing good returns now, but they're both maybe waiting on the same shot, Roisin and Paige. You know, they need to set up who's going straight, who's going
like
cross.
again there, a little bit lucky, but.
Service over.
And that's maybe where they aren't used to playing this higher tempo of game. You know, are they getting that in their practice? I don't know. I don't know who the girls are practicing against, but I know Orla and Shifa, you know, they're in training the National Centre every day, so.
Service over.
And that speed is important. It's definitely important.
13.
Oh.
Good cut out from Paige.
Service over.
See, again, the Flynns are waiting for the hard attack.
And what I give credit to Paige is she has a really high pace for someone who is a little bit smaller. She stands so far up the court and puts that pressure on the return of serve.
Very good again, man. This is what the girls need to do. They need to change it into this sort of a game. But take away that big open play that the Flynns want.
And that's the first time in the game now that it's been down to a 2-point margin. So
yeah,
these are really crucial points now.
And if you're the Flynns, you want to get it back into that big open game, and you know, and that's where 16, they need to be smarter. Is
17.
You know, get it into what they want to do. They want to hit hard. They want to get the girls. They want to open up the court. But right now, they're letting Roisin and Paige play what they want to do. Great shot.
Good recovery as well. Oh, a lot of frame on that one.
Yeah, Paige Woods, a very smart player.
Good change of pace there from Shifa at the front. Roisin working really hard there at the back. There's that one that you was talking about, opening up the play.
Doesn't need to do that, and that is exactly what Orla and Shifa want.
Service over.
You know, they're waiting for it to play out of clear, waiting for it to play it out. Like that mid-court one, should Roisin maybe just keep going there and Paige comes out, but Paige is staying too much, so Roisin can't go forward. So then it becomes a little bit less dangerous, so she either goes for the shot or she moves out and lets Roisin come.
I expect a flick here.
No.
Oh,
You're
that
wrong,
backhand
Dan.
turn. Yeah.
Careful now, it's become too flat. Yeah. That's good there by Orla. Open it up. See?
Yeah.
And that's what she wants. You know, Roisin and Paige want this, you know,
19,
closed-in game,
16.
and they're doing very well at that. And the two girls want to open it up, and they have to be smart enough to get into the game they want.
Yeah, it was a clever choice by Orla to go over the top, open up. That's the flick I was talking about. Oh.
Yeah, but again, they're flicking, and they're not. Who's setting up for what? I think, you know, that
Service over.
we're chatting about the next stage of ladies
17.
singles.
Yeah.
We're chatting about the next
19.
stage of ladies doubles, mixed doubles, men's doubles, whatever it is.
Yes.
Service situation is so key. You know, who's setting up? Schiffer should be out straight there, not trying to take the middle.
Maybe a little bit difficult because, you know, Shifa has a heavy singles focus in her training,
exactly,
and you can see she's more central in the box instead of being in the
Yeah,
middle taking
yeah.
that.
And that's what we're chatting about, the structure. You know, Orla's, she's keeping the
Service
structure,
over.
and Schiffer's.
20.
Orla was in the right
Game point.
position. You
Absolutely,
could see
yeah.
she was set up
17.
in the middle, but Shifa was just over too close, and then she swung, and I think it might have actually been a racket break in that one.
Oh, jeepers.
There's a good flick, wide one.
Yeah, good.
That strength in the forearm from Shifa.
Game.
So solid.
She's very dangerous. Once she forgets it and she's going forward, it's
First
it
game
rarely,
won by
they rarely get
O.FLYNN
it back
and
out.
Schiffer-Flynn. 21-17.
These girls are very, very physical, Orla and Shifa. They've got such a strong base. Like you said, if they could tighten up a little bit in positional and structures, they would be a very dangerous partnership. And you can see there isn't a natural front court player in that partnership, but at the top level in ladies doubles, it's not so much about the first three shots these days. It's a lot about opening up the play and then the counter attack and being able to be solid in your defense.
Yeah, and I think here you actually see two very contrasting styles, and I think if Paige and Roisin now can start with that
How
good,
they finished.
yeah, like with the service situation, being smart, taking the pace out but putting it in when they need to, then they've got a chance. But the Flynns are just definitely dominating with the power and the speed, and they're opening it up, they're keeping the game long. So I think they've done a really good job here to, as in Roisin and Paige have done a good job to change it around, but now they need to start how they finished and try and make this a more competitive game from 0-0.
Yeah.
Paige, you're going
And
to
we were saying we saw the Flynn sister Nassau coaching there, and on the far side we had Eugene coaching, who you talked about earlier, but Trevor Woods, Paige's dad, who was of course a European junior medalist. One of the few Irish players that have won at European level, so there's a lot of good information going to the players as well.
I don't think they can go home today and blame the coaches.
Certainly not.
1 love.
And Nasa obviously doing a very good job, and she got the first game. But you see again, now that was very good.
Fast by Orla.
Yeah, and the service situation was very good. She set up there for what she was playing for, but again, is it going back now to being too slow for the two girls?
But what I'll say is Orla started with 3 very good serves there.
She did, yeah.
Service
That was also
over.
very, very close, but
Wow.
I do think that was just out. But again, I can't really see past that pole.
She called it out.
I think Orla thought that one hit the line, but very hard for us to see from this side of the court. But it was very close.
Very, very close, yeah. It's very hard, but again, it's 1-2. It's grand scheme of things, it's not going to make a big load of it.
Sharp play there by
Very
Service
Shifa.
good.
over. 3-1.
The Flynns have started very aggressively in the
Yeah.
start of this game. I think
Yeah.
that they've dominated the first 3, where before they were kind of just letting it go through. They're now actually hunting it a bit more.
Yeah.
Do you think that's maybe because they've got the first game and they feel a bit more confident to
Absolutely.
take that shot, or?
Absolutely. I think it got a wee bit tight, and the two girls actually started to make unforced errors that they didn't need to make. And now they've kind of settled. Obviously, they've got the first game. It's 4-1. And I would say the two girls in the other one, that's out.
Yeah, tried to force that first one through the racket. You know, there's maybe could have just came up and turned it across court, or left it over.
Yeah, I think the two girls, and Roisin and Paige, they know what they have to do. It's can they do it for a long period of time? Are they used to doing this in
Service
training?
over.
And so that's where it
5,
translates into the
2.
game. I don't know. And, you know, they can see there they're getting 1-2 points where they're doing the right thing, and then they're changing back to just the pace is just too slow. That's a good return, very good. You know, and that's good, and that's what they need to do, but they need to consistently do it, not just 4 or 5 points,
3,
then change back to.
5.
But again, the Flynns are doing a good job because they're keeping the pressure on them all the time. They're not letting them play that game.
Good serve from Ocean just to change the direction as well.
So strong by Shifa.
Yeah, close one again. I don't think she was going to get that one. No,
Yeah,
no, that
no,
was
no.
very, very close.
Line
But
judge was correct there, definitely.
good strength in the forearm, as you said, because the shot before that was the wrong choice, and she kind of saved Orla in that situation.
That was out, I think.
That's good speed by Orla to cover the middle. Paige working hard across the back now.
Good option by Paige there. Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, she wasn't going to hit through them on an attack, so
Yeah.
she had to change it up.
7,
But just in a very simple mistake from
Yeah.
the front court. The one thing for sure is, you know, for Roisin and Paige to win this, it is going to be a very physical match.
Yeah, and they need to be comfortable in the long rallies, but I'm not sure that they
service over, 4, 7.
want to be in them.
Ball,
Phew, great power again. As you said, we always talk about Shiva, but Orla can
Yeah,
hit that
that's what I'm
shuttle
saying,
really
yeah.
well as well. Like you would say, probably one of the most physical pairs we've had in a long time in the ladies doubles.
Oh, very good.
Again, hunting in that. Orla looks fantastic in this game.
Yeah, I suppose you're always, we're always chatting about Shifra because of the singles and her European medals and everything, and sometimes maybe you forget that Orla, you know, Orla's also playing some really, really good badminton. And I'll say it again, I think she really has benefited from those years playing with Moya, because Moya plays a very structured doubles. You can see there, like, even though, okay, that's a mistake, but
Her
she's in the right
position's
place.
good, yeah.
Her position's good, she's in the right place, she's doing the right thing.
5, 9.
So 5-9. Just it seems to always be this 3-4 point margin within the game. So
and that lets the Flynns, you know, stay again.
Relaxed.
That's a very
Service
either
over,
Paige
10,
didn't know that flick was
5.
coming, or
yeah, she was very late at getting across
Yeah.
onto her line.
yeah, and this is the small things, you know. Then the points keep ticking up on the scoreboard, and the scoreboard is slowly getting away on them.
And wide.
11, 5.
It's close again, I think.
Yeah, no, that one. I
That
could
line
see
judge
from-
there is definitely having a tough game, and
Yeah, never easy because the speed of the shuttle these days, and especially we just talked about how hard they're hitting it. You've got a split second to make a call, so
yeah, and it's another thing I think we don't. The line judges have been fantastic. You know, I've only been here today, but I think every game I've watched, there's been so many close calls. I remember one time doing line judge for one of the tournaments, and it is so hard. You're sitting there in the back line, and I was obviously one of those players that gives some line judges a hard time, but it is a very, very difficult job. And you're sitting there, it's just you've got a split second to make a call.
100%. I
20
agree with you.
seconds.
All the volunteer work that
Yeah.
goes into the event, and
Yeah.
sitting beside us here to the left, Phil McCune puts in
Yeah.
huge amount of work on the streaming side of things. So
Yeah.
you can see how much the streaming has evolved, and the fact that we're here doing the commentary is down to the work that
11-5.
Phil does.
Absolutely,
Uh,
and it's given more people the
Play.
opportunity to watch badminton at a high level. Like I know myself, since I've moved back to Donegal, I can't make to go and see these tournaments, but I've watched every single tournament this year in Badminton Ireland because of the streaming. It's amazing. Very good there by Roisin. Again, it's now that the girls have to make the push, because if they don't,
Six.
if this game
11.
gets 3-4 more points, it's going to be very, very hard to crawl it back.
Yeah, 6-11. It's 5 points. They need to get this maybe to 8, and then it can start to become interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a
We did notice
7,
last time at the
11.
mid-game interval, the Flint had a big lead, and they did let them come back in. So
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see, can they stop that from happening this time around.
Oh, that's very
Good
far
cross
out.
body serve. Didn't
8,
adapt it, change of grip.
11.
Needed to really go thumb grip and try and push towards the backhand side. But that's what you call clever serving. Even
Yeah.
there, you see the flick, like she
Mm,
didn't let her.
She's mixing it well now.
Yeah. Or they just lifted her head and the flick had come in. That's smart.
Oh.
Paige controlling it well there.
Oh.
Or they're trying a little bit too much.
Yeah. But again, I can see what she's trying to do there. She's trying to put it in between
9,
Roisin, but Roisin
11.
was standing, you know, maybe just that one to the middle. Again, these are the small options.
So that's 3 consecutive points for Paige and Roisin since the mid-game interval.
And they did the same in the first game, so
Yeah.
now I'm intrigued to see, there's the mistake, I'm intrigued to see, can Roisin and Paige
Service
now
over.
keep this going?
12.
Don't
Yeah.
let the fans have another run of 4 or 5 points
That-
like they did in the first.
That was the question you'd asked last time, is
Yeah.
can they maintain it? So
Yeah.
only time will tell. Or that, you can see she's playing too much straight now, because when she plays the first one straight, she needs to lift that one straight away across.
Good shot. Very, very, very good shot. Good angle.
13, 9.
Really important on your defense when someone plays slow, that you're lifting it and making them work side to side, so they're not just playing a static smash, that they have to move their feet.
So maybe that's the second time now Orla's done that. She needs to realise that,
Service
you know,
over.
if you're pushing in between,
10,
you cannot do that if there's someone
13.
standing literally.
But there's
on
no
the net.
need.
No
There's
need.
no need.
No
Like
need.
as we said, most of their points are coming from the open play. Just put them on into the back line, unless you're above the level of net.
Yeah.
See there again, below level net.
Yeah,
Great defense though.
yeah, very strong in the defense. you know.
Again. Yes, better trying to switch the play. Oh, that was a cheap point. So they've got that 4-point margin back.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying about. But I don't think Roisin and Paige have done a lot wrong here. It's just they need to be more clinical in their kills. But I have to say, you know, from watching Orla maybe 1 year ago, and even Shifra, especially Shifra, the defense technique has really, really improved. That's really good by
That
Roisin.
retrieval rate is unbelievable.
Keep going. Yeah.
Brilliant by Roisin, good work ethic at the backcourt there.
Very good.
What a shot.
Very, very good.
It's just those little bit of different skills that you can see is.
That's kind of what we're saying about Shifra. It's like she can play anything at any given time. She is such a talent with the racket.
So 15th in, they've got that 5 points now. So this is a really important part of the game. Good serve from Shifa there.
Oh. Oh. Paige hits the frame and then hits the neck hard.
Yeah.
We can't say she has trained that, but maybe.
11, 15.
Sometimes you need a bit of luck in
You
this
do,
this
yeah.
game, and
Yeah, and that can change everything.
yeah. Oh, she tried to do the right thing again. See, that time she said across the body and anticipated the cross return, but Shifa did adapt her grip this time. Rather than just push it out with her forehand, she changed the backhand. Clever serving from Paige to make her play like that.
You know,
Again,
if I
that's
was,
straight lift. That's a good, better wide lift.
Yeah. Like, you know, you can really say, like, here, when the two Flynns left out, they're so confident on their defense. I do think their defense has improved a lot, so credit to the coaching team. Orla, you know, I can't really comment because I haven't seen her play much doubles, but Orla, especially from watching her last year, they can lift out and they're very, very confident in the defense. Roisin and Paige, when they left out, I don't feel the confidence that they, you know, they feel they are scared of the attack coming from Shifra and Orla. So, you know,
their points have been won through the attack.
yeah, and it's been won through being smart at the front. I think we at the front court, and that's something that they needed to do more. That maybe they just couldn't sustain it throughout the match. But the two Flynns, their defense has been very, very good today, and I have to say credit to the team for the improvement. Has been brilliant.
You can see Orla hunting going forward as well on her defense.
And I would like to see her do that more. Like, I think she's going forward and she's pushing up. When Orla learns to play the block and go forward after it, I think she'll get a lot more success because what she's doing is good, the movement's good. I think it's just the shots are wrong.
Good change of
That's
pace from
good.
Paige.
That's good, but then go forward, stay forward, be dangerous. Don't play forward and come back out.
That was an important rally because at 19-12 you'd be nearly saying the game's finished, but at 13-18 you still got that little bit of chance. You're on serve, score 2 more, give yourself small targets, try and get back in the game.
Oh, good shot by Paige.
Brilliant. But a loose return really pushed it up.
I just question how much they're thinking about what return they're playing and what's coming after it. You know, there's so many points to be won in the service situation, and if she's planning to play a return straight up to the middle, she's leaving Orla really open.
Left that to the last second.
Yeah, very good by
I think Paige was right to take that. It looked like it was going to be in.
It definitely was in, I think.
14.
But again, it was too many straight lifts from Shiva. You want to see that shuttle moving side to side and then moving on their attack and having to hit out of balance as opposed to just being, you know, teeing up for their smash. There, like that's the idea. Move it, and now next time move it again.
Again, good defense by Orla. Yeah, good. Very good.
Good rally. Oh.
And again, Orla took the risk, pushed forward. I would love to see her do that more.
Match
You know,
point.
Shifa is such a natural
40.
player. She can cover so much around the back. So she has that, you know, she
Luxury
can
to go forward, yeah.
She can go take the risk. She can go forward because she's got a player playing behind her who is extremely quick.
Good rally. Oh, there it is. Flynns are the national champions for 2026.
Yeah, and I think they deserved that today. They were probably all round stronger in all of the areas, and they played a very, very good game, kept it the way they wanted to play. And yeah, credit to them and credit to the coaching team because doubles have really improved.
Yeah, no, it was a good final, and two very contrasting styles. High flies all round with their sister NASA, and it was a 21-17, 21-14 win there for Orla Flynn and Shifa Flynn. So the next final will be the men's singles. So Chloe will be signing off here. So we thank Chloe for her work with the commentary on opening two matches. Chloe, any takeaways from that? What would you say from the two lots of final? You were heavily involved in women's sport and a lot of work that's going on in that. Were you happy with what you saw today, and what's your overall thoughts?
Yeah, really enjoying. Like I think the women's badminton internationally and all round has definitely got stronger in Ireland. I know from playing 15 years ago, we didn't have as many women's singles players competing on the international stage. We definitely didn't have as many women's doubles players. So it's so great to see that the centre has expanded so much from being myself, Sam and Scott playing so many, all those moons ago, to now having a full team of players travelling on the international circuit. So it's really, really, really good to see, especially to see all these young girls playing. And I just hope now that they keep pushing on. Like there's so much to learn from those games. They can go back, they can watch it again, the luxury of the live stream, and I hope they all do because each one of them can learn so much.
And now, well, thanks very much, Chloe.
I'm going to hand over now to the legend himself.
So our next final up is the men's singles, and we will be watching Jack O'Brien versus Matthew Cheung. So no matter the result here, we are going to be having a brand new national men's singles champion because neither of these men have previously won a title. So with me is a former national champion. Now he's more involved on the chair, umpiring the matches. So Mike O'Mara, welcome.
Dan, thanks a million. The privilege is always mine to sit beside you in the cockpit, as we say, you know. Yeah, listen, you know, it's history will be made once again. As you say, we will have a new national champion. I think I would have to, you know, it's a proud day for Connacht. You know, we don't get too many from Connacht. Probably Johnny Dolan was the last one to feature in a singles final, and here we have Jack O'Brien today. So obviously against Matthew Cheung, and we will have a new champion.
Yeah, and it's always exciting when we have these type of matches where you see, okay, it's Nationals weekend, you're at home and you've got your family there watching, and a lot of them are watching on the stream that is kindly provided by Mr. Phil McCowan here on my left. So it adds a little bit of pressure as well, though, you'd have to say, Mike, especially when you haven't had that experience of being in one of these finals.
Yeah, I think the Nationals, there's no question, Dan, is a very different tournament, and I think it's all about, you know, there's that extra pressure because it is the Nationals. It's not just a provincial open, and I think it's the one who can stay focused and not get distracted and, you know, eye on the prize kind of thing. Yeah, and I think it's a very special weekend. You know, it's funny, I remember chatting to Matthew Cheung's father when Matthew was about 11 or 12. He came to me and said, what does Matthew need to do? And I said, nothing. He just needs to be left alone and given time to grow. And here is Matthew Cheung today with a 50-50 chance of becoming what we all thought that he could do someday, you know.
Yeah, and you know, both players, you know, Jack's had a really good season, has earned himself a #2 seeding for this event, but both really well tested en route to final because Jack came through a 22-20 third set thriller against Carl McLaughlin, and a game we both sat down and watched earlier, and What did you think of that one, Mike?
Yeah, well, I didn't see a lot of it because I was umpiring on the court next to it at the time, Dan.
Yes, you were of course covering Dylan against Matthew.
I was service judging, but I think you know, it was always going to be a very tough match. And you and I spoke earlier, and I think you had said you'd probably definitely gave Jack the edge, and that's just about how it panned out. So not only do we have one person from Connacht in the final today, but we had two in the semis, which is great. You know?
Yeah, and these guys are working hard down there in Galway Lawn Tennis Club. Declan Bennett coaches down there. He's just recently completed his BWF level 3 course, and he's trying to implement a lot of the stuff that he's learning, you know, in the centre there. And Jack and Carol and these young players coming through are all benefiting off the back of that.
Yeah, and I suppose, Dan, I'm going to have to put you on the spot now, and I'm going to have to ask you, because people will want to know. I'm going to ask you to call this. Yeah,
I would say that despite Jack being the number 2 seed, I would have Matthew as the favourite to win this. I think it'll be a very even game given the magnitude of what's up for grabs here. And Jack, of course, we all know how much his work rate is and how much energy he invests into the game, so he'll definitely make Matthew work for every single point. But I'd have to say Matthew would be the one that I would expect to win the game.
Yeah, I think I'd go with that, and I think there's two very different dynamics here. I think there will be certainly maybe more pressure on Matthew because he feels he will be expected to win, and I think Jack, on the other hand, will be wanting to win so badly he's not going to go quietly.
Absolutely,
you know, so it's going to be very interesting how it pans out, but I think I would have to go for Matthew.
And Jack, of course, now number 2 ranking in Ireland in men's singles, and he's had, you know, a good start there to 2026, of course, winning the Ulster men's title. So he will be coming into the tournament with a bit of confidence, having that under his belt.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, Dan, that will be interesting here today is how both players handle the pressure. And I think Jack might be the one who might be expected to handle it a bit better because he's probably not expected to win, which gives him all the motivation in the world to prove everyone wrong. And Matthew, on the other hand, just might feel more pressure, but let's wait and see.
Service over, 5-3.
Well, it's certainly a very good start for Jack.
Matthew gambling there, gave away the short lift.
6-3.
Yeah, it's a very good start, in fairness, a very straight out of the blocks start from Jack O'Brien. So he's come and he means business, Dan.
Yeah, he's done well so far. I think what I've seen is the front court. He's been nice and aggressive up there early on it, and I think that's going to be an area that's going to decide this game. Whoever's first on that net, creating the early opportunities will win this game. And again, there's a good example. Matthew, just instead of just waiting up early, put the shuttle onto the net court. None of the guys have the biggest put away power in the world, so they have to make sure that they're playing tight neck and shorter lifts.
Yeah, and I think if it's one thing, you know, probably Matthew could be is a little more aggressive on the return of serve. It's almost a little passive. You know, and I do think it's important in the game in general to be aggressive where you get the chance to be aggressive and get the first punch in, so to speak.
Yeah, just what you asked, a bit more aggressive and then attack body and stop it from being a 4-corner running game and make it a more aggressive, hard hitting game. Again, great success 2 times in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, I think singles, Dan, is all about, you know, you've obviously got to be able to cover the court well, play the corners, be consistent, take your chances, but you really only get chances if you take the net early and if you take the net first.
Yeah.
You know, like
See,
Matthew has done there.
Yeah, good counter from Jack, but you see again, that's why it's going to be so important, because even with the short lift there, Jack wasn't able to ground it straight away.
9,
And
6.
as the length of the game goes on, that adds up. So
Yeah.
if you're making sure that you're the one early on the net and you get the short lift and you get an earlier winner, more time than your opponent who's got a similar style, then you'll, like that, be aggressive, take your front court.
Service over.
But it's also quite a
7,
difficult hole
9.
to, you know, we're all familiar with Whitehall Road. You can put the shuttle on the floor, or even in Baldoyle a lot easier than you can here.
Yeah.
So for me, taking the net is very important.
Yeah, this is much more like an international arena where you've got a little bit of drift, big open hall, maybe a more
Service
difficult
over,
to
10,
see with the lights are a lot more
7.
bright. So these are things that you have to adapt to as well as your opponent.
And I think it's faster on one side as well down the hall.
Yeah, today definitely you can see that.
Service over.
I know what I found
8,
yesterday when I was umpiring.
10.
I found that shuttles were even in the first half a dozen points when we started start of play yesterday. Shuttles were flying out. Say the end we're at, which is the opposite end, J. O'Brien's end, if you like.
Yes.
It was very much flying out the back,
Service over,
and these were
11,
shuttles that
8,
had absolutely been
interval.
tested. But as you say, you have one end that is faster than the other, and these are all conditions you just need to be able to adapt to. You know.
Yeah, and here at the mid-game interval we see Matthew is flying solo while Jack is being supported by Ryan Fox Hughes, who featured earlier in the semi-final of the men's doubles, another Galway player, and Callum Thomas from Waterford, who interestingly played Jack earlier in the tournament. So Jack got the better of Callum, winning 21-11, 21-16 on this occasion.
20
But
seconds.
we know Callum's very skillful,
Yeah.
tactical, like a clever player. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what kind of advice they've given him and what kind of influence it has on him here at the mid-game interval.
Ready?
We all know
11,
that
8,
Matthew, of course, very
play.
clever player anyway, so you know he's quite quick at adjusting and switching things up, so it'll also be interesting to see if has he changed anything.
12, 8.
Yeah, this is a set now you would like to see Matthew, or he certainly would want to start to reel this in and narrow the lead, you know, rather than letting it slip out. And you can see a couple
lifts
down
in a
there
row.
have come out the back at the end that I spoke about.
Yeah, interestingly, it is definitely playing quicker from Matthew's side across to Jack, and we've seen like the pattern today from the semi-finals to the finals has been the side that Jack is on. People have
Service
been getting
over.
the leads and
9,
winning
Yeah.
the games.
13.
So it'll be interesting to see
I thi-
once they switch.
I think it's particularly important that Matthew, now that he's at that end, looks to take the net and not be the one to lift.
Yeah, it has to.
He has to be. Yeah, unusual
Service over,
smash from Matthew to take
14,
on there. It just
9.
never looked on.
Yeah, a lot of missed. You have to say so far, it's been Matthew's unforced errors as opposed to Jack doing anything special. But that's the way Jack has to play and approach this game, because as long as he keeps it safe and keeps it on
15,
court,
9.
if his opponent's giving him mistakes and
Happy to take them.
yeah, why not? Why not play that style? Don't change it unless you have to.
Yeah, but I think the
10,
dynamic here for me that's very
15.
interesting, Dan, is how they're both handling the fact that it's a national men's doubles final. As I said, it's not an Autumn Open final or a Munster Open final. You know, there's that extra pressure.
This is what Matthew needs to be doing.
11,
Needs to be hitting down with the
15.
ankle, being more aggressive, taking the game to Jack, hitting onto his body. This open play style where it's hard to keep the
It
shuttle
suits
in,
Jack.
suits Jack down to the ground. And it is difficult to lift when you're playing in a drifty hall like this. So
16,
And you can see there, Dan, as well in the returns to serve, Jack is a lot more aggressive returning the serve than Matthew is, and it's one area I would like to see Matthew being is just more aggressive on the net when he's returning serve. Maybe take a half a yard step up court.
Good rally.
Yeah, Dan, I think this game is going to be an awful lot closer than we had maybe envisaged. I think it's going to go really, really close. At the moment, you'd have to give Jack every chance the way he's playing, you know.
Yeah, and you know how important in men's singles it'll boil down to conditioning as well. So when the tempo comes up and more comes on the line, you'll see who has got that conditioning to keep it going.
Yeah.
16.
Of course, we have in the chair officiating none other than M.CHEUNG, whose esteemed other half is responsible for all the streaming that we do. And I have to say, Dan, it's pretty top class, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's as good as you're going to get there, because you see a lot of the nationals are taking place this weekend. If you tune into the streams, this is the benchmark of what you want to be seeing. Really good quality, and also gives people the opportunity to watch the nationals from home that maybe can't be here, who would like to be here. And we know a lot of people like that, Mike, ourselves. I know my own family in Donegal often tune in, and something that Chloe mentioned. She gets to watch all of the matches now since she's moved back to Donegal, and she can't be here as often.
It's nice to have legends like Chloe and yourself commentating today as well, Dan. Always nice to keep the history and keep the past players of yesteryear.
14.
Although I know you're very much into the Masters at the moment yourself. It's nonetheless great to see you guys still commentating.
Yeah, no, it's an enjoyable experience. It's great by Matthew there. That time just being aggressive onto the net. But what we've seen here is that 7-3, 7-4 lead that
he's never hauled it back.
Yeah, and Jack's just kept that, and it's given him a bit of wiggle room to take chances sometimes. But this will be interesting. You can see now already Jack starting to breathe a little bit here, and these unforced errors are creeping in on his side, where I would say Matthew's unforced errors at the start was maybe more to do with nerves.
Yes, I'd agree.
Fantastic speed on the net.
Not much you can do against that, Dan. That's top quality.
His net was good quality, and then his follow-up was really good. But you can definitely see a small dip in the speed in Jack's game creeping in.
Well, we spoke about the need for that's a bit flat for Matthew. We spoke about the need for Matthew to be particularly tight on the net at his end, and when he has been tight, it's reaped rewards for him.
Yeah, you can see he's really pressing now. It's making a big difference. Yeah. Going on body.
And it's suddenly, Dan, that lead you spoke about has been reeled back in.
Yeah. The big difference, you see those number of lifts that Matthew put out, he's now got control on them. And he's playing with tempo on his lifts, and he's controlling, he's playing the spins, so it's a big change. And also, I think there is that little dip in tempo from Jack, but maybe he can pick that up again. That time there, very good pressing forward.
Well, I think the key, Dan, here is, who presses forward, who looks to take that front third and dominate and dictate. The shuttle is lifted to them. And here we are now at 19-18 for Jack.
19-0.
Service over, 19-0.
Big point in the game here now, Dan.
I think it's very important for Jack to get this first game, because if he doesn't and Matthew starts to relax, then it could be a very different game. But if he can keep that pressure, win the first game, then Matthew has to think about it. Very tight in the forearm there.
Yeah, you could see almost a double hit there.
Yeah, that's pure tension in the forearm is what that is. And also the fact that Matthew was hovering over him, so he had to play tight.
Yeah, I think Jack, you see it on his face there, Dan. He'll be very disappointed. He was 18-15 up, and he lost 6 points against winning one in return, if you like. And that's something that will probably, you wonder, will he be able to get that out of his head and start fresh again? But that'll be tough, a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, definitely. I think as the speed went up and Matthew cut out the unforced errors and the lifts that were going along, and he started to play a bit more tempo lift and take the net, then Jack's speed started to dip when he had to play a number of rallies to actually try and earn the game, you know. So it'll be interesting to see if he has another bit of energy that he can invest into the game, or will Matthew like to start to now push ahead and relax and play freely?
Yeah, I think it was a big set because we go back to the fact that it's not just a tournament, and certainly during my career I have always seen down through the years, even at underage groups, because it's a national, it plays tricks with people's minds, and some people just can't handle the pressure. And I think the fact that Matthew has got this set now, it'll relax him a bit.
Yeah.
And he's probably playing at the end that he wants to be playing at now, because, as I said, it's playing faster from the far end. So if he can dictate the net, if he can take the net early, like we said earlier, I think we'll be seeing some errors coming out the back here from Jack. But let's wait and see.
Yeah, only time will tell, Mike.
Only time will tell, Dan.
But,
20 seconds.
it's a
20
great carrot for
seconds.
both these boys, you know, to try and get this first title.
It's history, Dan. Nobody remembers who won Autumn's Munsters. Yeah, they do, but your name goes on the trophy. It's there for all time. You make history, and one of these boys is going to make history today. Sophia Noble did it earlier. She won 4 in a row, which is fantastic. So here we go.
The ball played.
Yeah, I just feel like Matthew's going to really light up now. I know last year he was very disappointed not to have to win the Nationals. He might have been more expected to win it than Dylan being the younger player coming through. But Dylan played a really good final and really deserved his national title last year. So I know Matthew's been waiting for an opportunity to get it. So,
but you know what? I think last year, and I umpired Dylan's very first game last year in the Nationals. He played our own Pranav, and that would normally have been relatively good match, and Dylan absolutely smoked him. And it was only in that match I realised how hard Dylan actually hits. So Dylan was on fire. Last year was his year. It's with every passing point, it's looking like it could be the year of Matthew Chung.
Yeah, he's really lighting up now, and he's really he's aggressive. He's reading the play well. There's an extra speed to his game, Mike.
Well, there's an extra bit of confidence as well, because he's a set up.
Yeah.
You know, and he's moving it around very well with an air of confidence, you know.
Yeah, Jack just looks a little bit tired. He's struggling to follow the speed that Matthew's injected into it here. But the one thing you'll say about Jack, he'll never give up.
No, absolutely not. I've been fortunate to be on a number of trips over the years with Matthew Chung, so I remember him since he's been about 11 years of age. What is he now, 21, 22?
Yeah, 21.
Yeah, so I've known him an awful long time. And the other thing I would have to say, I think, you know, either of these boys would be worthy winners, you know, and holders of a national senior men's singles title, because they're both really nice, genuine guys, you know.
Yeah, and Jack has always featured well in nationals and provincial opens, you know, winning
great
titles.
Supporter of the game, absolutely. I wasn't watching that on the screen there, Dan, as you can see.
The A boards are in front of us.
So. Away, but I don't know if you saw it on the TV.
Didn't see it on the TV, but it was very close. It was a very, very close lift. But
well, it was called good.
Over. 6-2.
I definitely, I can see it. Jack starting just to make one or two of these tired mistakes where normally he's so good at keeping the shuttle alive and not giving his opponent cheap ones. When I spoke with you yesterday, I compared him to Nigel Boyne, who he played in this event, and Nigel was another one of those players. When I was speaking to him yesterday, he said that was potentially his last season
said that to me too.
which you had been telling me about. So he was delighted that he had a 3-set game against Jack, and at 51 years of age, a great achievement as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I see Jack as a very similar player tonight, where they work hard to keep the shuttle alive, and it wouldn't surprise me if he started to dig back some of the points, as Matthew has put so much energy into these first 9 points.
There could be another lull in it yet, Dan.
Yeah, there can be lulls, because if you invest that amount of energy and the adrenaline comes up, at some point you do have to come back down again. So,
but I think that I think you can get some adrenaline and energy back from seeing a finish line somewhere close to you.
Big heavy hit there onto the body. Clever decision by Matthew. And at 9-3, what Matthew's looking to do now is keep the tempo high, not waste energy, get into the mid-game interval, rest up, and then come out hard again, put the game to bed. Nice shot from Jack.
Lovely cross net from Matthew. A little wild, I suppose, but
9.
I was about to say Matthew was playing very controlled, very consistent, and then I'd like to see Matthew, when he hits down, get forward a little bit quicker. I'm not sure he's getting forward as quick as he might like. And that's an unforced error. And I suppose, Dan, the longer the rallies go on, the more pressure there is on Jack, because he's the one who's 10-4 behind.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And he has to feel like he might need to do something special to get the point, where maybe it's not the case. Sometimes it's just, again, keeping in the game, keeping up with the tempo that Matthew's injected.
Yeah.
But Matthew's attack has been very good.
Yeah. It's not the most powerful attack, but it's a very effective attack.
Yeah.
And
Jackie runs down a lot of play. What people kind of get sucked into is playing at the same speed as him. What Matthew has avoided, and since he's settled with his nares, he's been able to play that one speed up. So Jack's not reaching the shuttle, as opposed to, it's not that he's making mistakes, he's just not getting to the shuttle. You can see actually in the breathing on the far side, you can see two very different body languages here. If you're a boxing coach here, you would be saying go in for the kill here when you see that kind of heavy breathing and the head down, where Matthew looks a bit more upright, but more ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm just find myself wondering, the last national men's singles winner from Connacht was, as we said earlier, Johnny Dolan, and I'm wondering who the last men's singles winner from for Ulster would have been. Can you think?
Tony Stevenson, I would say.
Tony Stevenson, maybe, yeah.
Tony, of course, here this weekend.
Yeah. And for me, Dan, I'm a massive Tony Stevenson fan. I actually don't know him that well at all, really, but certainly, as me, someone who's quite hard to please. And I just adore watching him play. He's pure gold, and there's very few we've ever had that are like him, in my view. And I think the writing is nearly on the wall, Dan. It's hard to see 21-19, 13-4.
Yeah, Jack just maybe feeling like he's put in a lot of work this weekend. He's also played the men's doubles. Matthew just playing the singles. Well, so those games add up as well, Mike.
Absolutely, Dan.
But I spoke about it in the opening game. What would come into play would be the conditioning, and you can see a big difference in the conditioning here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think we always said we would be crowning a new champion today, whichever way it went. But I think that looks very much like it's going to be Matthew Chung. So Dan, unfortunately, I have to leave you to do the rest
Mike,
of the game yourself.
Tell us you're on duty.
I'm on duty for the next match as well. So we'll chat to you later.
A pleasure doing commentary with Mike.
As always, Dan, my pleasure.
So here we are, and it's 14-5 lead here for Matthew Chung after winning the first game 21-19. And Matthew really working hard here, putting in the energy, trying to keep the speed high.
Service over.
15-5.
5.
Yeah, another tire mistake there from Jack. He's worked very, very hard throughout this tournament, and he's done really well, but a lot of his games have been 3 games against Nigel Boyne in the last 16. Another tough 3-gamer going all the way to 22-20 in the semi-final. So a lot of miles covered from Jack, and he's done a fantastic job to reach this final. Matthew now just looking the stronger of the two and closing in on that first ever national title. So something he's been working very hard for throughout his career.
6-17.
Jack can put in one last big fight here, try and put more pressure on Matthew. Matthew very aggressive. Very aggressive there onto that.
18-6.
So 18-6. And now only 2 points away.
6.
A very comprehensive performance here from Matthew Chung, leading 19-6. Kept very aggressive throughout the game, pressing high and early onto the net, winning a lot of his points through that heavy attack. Jack just following the tempo that Matthew's setting. A lucky one there to go to 26.
6.
So it's match point here for Matthew Chung. Hoping to take his first ever national title.
Service over.
Wait
7.
1 or 2 more points. Jack sticking in, and this is the great testament to Jack O'Brien, how much he fights throughout his matches. And there it is, Matthew Chung, 2026 national champion. And congratulations to Jack O'Brien on a fantastic tournament and a fantastic season. Jack ranked number 2 in Ireland now, and a well-earned rank number 2. And no doubt that he'll be back playing other finals in the future and fighting for that gold spot. But today, it's Matthew Chung who becomes our national champion in the men's singles. So the next final up, we have the final of the men's doubles of the 2026 Nationals. And this is a match featuring Scott GUILDEA and Paul Reynolds, the #1 seeds, up against the non-seeded Long Nguyen and Conor Bradley from South Dublin Badminton Club. For this final, I've got the national men's doubles coach and national doubles coach, should I say, Sam McGee, alongside us. Sam, welcome, and you looking forward to this one?
Thank you very much. Yeah, this should be an interesting final. I think Long and Conor have battled through the rounds very well, and Scott and Paul have had it all their own way so far. So sets up for an interesting final.
Yeah, definitely. Conor and Long, I know from speaking to them before this, they're delighted to be here in the final. Coming into the tournament, they knew they had a couple of matches that were going to be very difficult for them, and as you said, they've had a number of like 3-game matches to get through. In the quarter-final against Paul Foley, Daniel Orr, winning 21-18 in the third. They took out the #2 seeds Declan Bennett and Richard Kong in the last 16. Another game where it was 3 games and it was 21-19, 22-20, 21-9 in the third end to the boys. So they've had to really fight to earn this spot in the final.
Yeah, exactly. But impressive this morning against the experienced Tony Stevenson and Ryan Stewart in the semi-final. They came through in 2 comfortable sets, especially Long in that match was very impressive. He really controlled the game and was really composed at the right moments.
Yeah, someone that he trains in the Badminton Ireland, the Premier Sessions, which is for players who are maybe just outside of the system. So we get to see a lot of them each week. And the one thing with Long and Conor is they always come with a good energy, especially Long. He likes to push forward and really take to the game. Where they'll struggle in this match, obviously, will be the sharpness of the full-time players on the far side, Scott and Paul. They just have those positional plays in the structure, maybe a lot more locked down than the previous opponents that they've played. But it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Definitely one of the big areas is going to be the first 3 when Scott and Paul are adding a lot of pressure with their racket skills. And they'll be looking to press forward early to get first on the net.
Yeah, exactly what you said there. Like Paul starting off an aggressive serve and then big, looking for the shuttle across the front of the court. Where Long and Conor were able to beat the other guys in the flat play, they're going to have to be a little bit more smart in this one.
Definitely. I think Paul's a key player here. He's won many national titles. Has won them mixed as well. There you go. And that's where he's most dangerous. When he gets one shot, he follows up on the next one. And good power there to place it down. I think for Conor and Long, they just need to settle and get used to the pace.
Yeah, you can see Long struggling here when he's pushing to the midcourt. In the previous game, he was able to like let that go through to Conor, but because Scott and Paul are pressing the midcourt so hard, Conor's not able to get behind the shuttle like he was in the previous games.
Exactly, it's just coming a fraction quicker on everything.
6-1.
Just an easy mistake there from Long, and that's the one thing. If they're going to have any chance in this game, they're going to have to make sure that they're not giving away those cheap, easy ones where they actually do have time on the shot.
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously easier said than done at times playing at this pace. Yeah, good pressure.
7-1.
Yeah, Conor not necessarily doing the wrong thing there, because he played to the net 3 times and Paul cut off, so that time he tried to play over. But Scott's so athletic, it was just a left leg jump and the shuttle was coming on to him again straight away. So a different speed now. Better that time from Long, trying to be early and get the shuttle beyond Scott rather than it being in front of him in the midcourt.
The key one there, not playing into his range, making him move across the court. Make the court a little bit bigger.
Good wide serve from Long, but not finding it on this
Service
occasion.
over 8-2.
That's a really good flick.
9-2.
Something a little bit unique to Scott, that one, where he moves the shuttle a little bit and then flicks.
Yeah, it's the one thing that Paul and Scott do really well. They've got good variation on their serve. They've got flicks, drives, change of angles.
Small miss time from Paul.
Service over. 3-9.
And this is the part of the game now where Connor and Long really have to score, because if they don't score for the mid-game interval, Scott and Paul will just have way too much lead for them to have any chance in this opening game.
Service over. 10-3.
Again, Long just smashing and not being ready for that fast drive to come back to the midcourt.
Yeah, really good first save for Paul there, serving at the angle, and he's predicting that it's going to come back into that area, and he's ready and clinical when it comes there. I think the match has probably panned out as we expected so far. I think the most important part here for Connor and Long is not to panic too much.
Yeah, and if you were out there now at the mid-game interval coaching Connor and Long, would you encourage them to try and open up the play a little bit more, or what would your advice be to them?
I think they got to centralise the game a little bit more, especially on the returns. Don't go too much to the sides, because that's where you can see at the minute, especially the last one there, Paul's hunting the sides of the court, where the middle's a little bit more open. And also when they get it on the sides, they're hitting one and pressing forward hard. So I'd try and maybe go through the rackets a little bit more, get the rackets ready, keep the court a little bit smaller, and then open up as the rally goes on.
Very good from Paul again.
12-3.
We did see a little bit of that in the start of the semi-final, where Tony Stevenson was dominating the game with the serve and third shot, but as the game went on, he kind of lost his way in that, and the guys opened up the court a bit more. But just the too solid so far from Scott and Paul. They're not getting any let up from Eiler.
Yeah, it's very dominant at the minute. They're just a little bit better in every department, and they're continuing to show it. It's good consistency by Scott and Paul to keep this up.
Good little chop serve there from Paul. You can see the shuttle moving in the air.
Service over. 4-13.
And of course the guys flying out later tonight to Azerbaijan. So a quick turnaround from nationals until their next international tournament.
Yes, Scott will be playing 2 events, starting qualifying on Tuesday in mixed.
Service over. 14-4.
Himself and Paul will start on the Thursday against an English pair that defeated them the first round of Irish Open, so a chance for revenge.
Service over.
Nice return there by Long.
5-14.
So 5-14 here in an opening game. Yeah, good energy from Paul again.
Service over. 15.
Very, very difficult
5.
when you're not being able to get into the game from your serve situation. And they've been completely dominated in that serve return at the minute. We haven't seen so many big open rallies. Scott really creating good power from the rear court, and Paul hunting very well from the front.
Yeah, there's been no let up from Scott and Paul. They're playing quite fast, and most importantly, they're sharp on the front court. Like those ones there, they're pouncing on everything.
17-5.
So in the doubles and the mixed competition, I know you've been here all weekend watching. Sam, was there any players or pair or any young players that have stood out for you over the weekend?
I think definitely these Long and Connor have battled well all weekend. Have done very well. I think Josh and Moya, maybe as expected, a little bit in the mix, but they played really solid this morning in a tough match against Scott and Rachel. Good to see Rachel stepping into a mixed career. He's also done pretty well, making the semi-finals. I think overall the level's been good. Not as many close matches as we would have liked, but I think it's been good level. Ladies doubles as well, there's been good performances. O.FLYNN, Flynn taking the title. P.WOODS and R.MCKENNA also in 2 finals. So there's been a lot of good performances. A lot of people have played above their level.
Service over.
Yeah,
7, 18.
like you said there, it was good to see a variation of players, and the likes of Conor Long, who are unseeded, reaching a final is nice to see. But also, as you said, Roisin McKenna making 2 finals, played very well in her semi-final to mixed earlier today as well. So
Service over. 19.
good mix in the doubles and mix coming up. So. It was really good. Conor had the setup thinking that Paul was going to play fast again. Just that little change of pace in front of him caused him to lose his footing. So 27, a very dominant display so far here from Paul Reynolds and Scott Gildea. Right idea to go for that one.
Service over. 8-20.
Yeah, good right smash, very long.
9-20.
Maybe a better start there by Long. Sometimes open up with a flick.
Yeah, difficulty is the few times that he has flicked Scott, he's put it on the floor against him. So that was a better flick that time.
A little bit flatter to the middle.
Good to see them change something though, Sam, to not just to step up and serve and score no points. They tried to do something to switch it up.
Paul Reynolds,
I think that's,
21-9.
if you look where they did get their points, it was a few overhead mistakes from Scott and Paul, and also a little bit of long rushing the returns, which I think they have to do. They have to take a little bit more risk on the first 3. Maybe those variations too with flick to try and get in. But also crucial here at the start of the second that they keep it close.
Yeah, that's it. And I see Shane Gildea and the family watching Scott's stats. Shane, of course, will feature in his own Masters Nationals next week after coming home with a silver medal from Scotland last week at the Scottish Masters, along with Niall Gannon. So a lot of badminton in that family.
Looking on this, people might, when Scott, he looks like such a big stature out there. He's only have 1 national title under his belt, so he'll be keen to add to it.
Yeah, last year being his first title. And yeah, it's always nice to rack these ones up at home, and it's not often you play at home in front of their family. Both their families here today to watch them look to try and retain their national titles. So be interesting to see if they can keep this tempo up now and get the win in 2 games.
Service over. 1 love.
That will help settle the nerves for Conor Long.
Yeah.
Free point to start, get them into it.
Need to capitalise on that now, just to try and make the game interesting.
That's good.
Very good serve. In our evening sessions, I've seen Conor also trying to do a little bit of a chop serve to try and put a bit of spin on it, a legal version of it. You can see there the little wobble that he creates on the shuttle, so he spent a lot of time trying to do this, and when he gets it, it is actually quite a difficult serve to return.
That's exactly what they need to do. When you practice those things, the hard part is putting them into competition play. But this is the moment to do it, that you've put in the practice and take that risk. Nothing to lose for the 2 guys.
You see again the little bit of wobble on the serve. So I think in the first game he was a little bit scared to use it. Or maybe it was the nerves at the Nationals or that. But
yeah,
like what you said, why not? If you're losing 21-9 and you're not scoring in the open play, try and do something to create a little bit of uncertainty in your opponents. But it did work. The guys struggled a little bit there, but Scott and Paul have played against these type of things on the tour, so I'm sure they'll quickly adapt to it.
Yeah, definitely. But it is that change when someone does something a little bit different. It can be worth 2 points, which makes a big difference.
Yeah, Long sneaking forward there on defense.
2, 3.
Variation.
We've seen Paul use that one throughout this weekend. He scored him a lot of points. Something that you've got to be ready for at this level.
That's one of their strengths, Scott and Paul,
Oh.
is the variation on the serve.
4-3.
Connor just playing a little bit loose there, and you can see the difference when Scott and Paul's in the midcourt as opposed to their semi-final. They're just pressing so much harder. Yeah, flick serve again. Good cover from Scott and good hold from Paul. 2 points. Flat smash straight down the middle. You have to say Connor should be ready for that.
5-3.
Possibly a slight mistiming there by Paul Reynolds, but gets away with it on this occasion.
And just like that, that little 3-1 lead that the guys have had has disappeared very quick.
This is the area to watch.
Light judge.
Watching Paul when he
Shoulder lock,
serves
will
this
you?
next one,
Shoulder
how he
awareness.
hunts after the shuttle. He's
Yeah,
always
shoulder
looking to
awareness.
create pressure on the third shot, which is so crucial. Whether it's off a drive, off a low serve, or a flick, he's always looking to get on that next shot.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, very strong front court player.
Okay.
A lot of experience, like the amount of experience that
Thank
Paul has compared to any of the other players that have
Put the
competed
towel
this
in the
weekend in
box
the
there,
doubles is massive. Like being
the
on the
towel
tour a
in the
long
box.
time now.
Thank you.
We always see him as one, maybe one of our younger players, because he's been
5-3.
about for such a long time when we were seniors. But now he's very much a senior player in the hall.
Yeah, definitely. There we go again, the drive serve, and he's on the next one.
6-3.
Again, this will be another factor when he serves. He's looking for that next one. The guys have to either try and get it past him or get it in front of him that time. Good option, but just not in. Just take it past Paul.
7-3.
Yeah, and Mike, who was co-commentating with me, up on the chair, as he said.
Service foul called.
And
Too high.
Yuri
Service over.
Costello on the chair. I was going to
4-7.
mention him at the start, but now's the perfect time as he's just called a false serve on Paul Reynolds. So that's our umpire and service judge for this final.
Service over. 8-4.
Yeah, you can see Long and Connor just aren't able to adapt to this speed. In any of the previous rounds, they haven't had that amount of pressure and pressing. It's just not, it's like having that one less second all the time on the shuttle that you're used to having. And that's just a case of, you know, they're not training against the speed on a day-on-day basis.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to just come up to speed in the moment. Variation on the serve again from Scott and Paul. This time the
10-4.
flick.
10-4 again. They need to score a few points here. Don't let them get to the mid-game interval. That's a better press that time from
Service
Connor up
over.
on the backhand side.
5-10.
I think that's a good idea, is the push on the chest. Don't take them on too much at the net. Scott and Paul, it's where they're going to be stronger.
Yeah, better. Just missed control on the lift though.
Service
But what
over.
I liked about it that
11-5
time was
interval.
Connor was trying to lift the shuttle away from himself and make Paul move on the smash, as opposed to when they're lifting straight and Paul smashing and then Scott's just stepping across and cutting out the straight. They've got to try and at least move them across the back of the court.
Absolutely, it's going to be key. They can't let them play one shot and then be on the next one, which is, of course, easier said than done when the guys are hitting it hard. But it's going to have to be a tactic they're going to have to discuss by themselves and try and move it as quickly as they can, or at least turn across away from the front court person.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
So here we go, 21-9 opening game, 11-5 at the mid-game interval. Scott and Paul on course to retain
11-5.
their national title, but still got a bit of work to
Right.
do here in the second half of the game.
Yeah,
How many times have we seen that pattern?
12-5.
you have to have a better solution when Paul's serving.
Yeah, the same pattern, that push and then net, and then he's playing and past his ear.
13.
Got away with it that time.
Quick points are racking up.
This really highlights, you know, for the players at home that are watching this today,
6-13.
you know, you spend hours and hours working with these guys on serve, third shot situation. It's hugely important, and you can see the difference, you know, in the players that are practicing this on a day-on-day basis and the players that are maybe just focusing more on the court play or the games play stuff.
Yeah, it's a big focus point. really
7-13.
narrowing down exactly what you're doing in the serve situation and what you're covering, and as a pair as well. That understanding coming with the day-on-day training, knowing what each other is doing is really crucial.
Yeah, it's the one thing you can see that both Paul and Scott have a clear plan, not only on service, but when they're returning serve. You can see they give them each other a quick signal or quick,
13.
I'm going to do this. There we go again. So Paul knows exactly what shot he has to cover after Scott makes the return.
Service over, 14-8.
Easy error there from Connor. He was top of the net. Trying to force it just a little bit too much.
And when they're making these calls, Sam, how often would they deviate from what they've said if they've noticed, like Connor has maybe moved across to the tee, or would they stick exactly to what they say?
I think a little bit of both. I think most of the time they stick to the plan because then the other person knows what they're doing. And sometimes if there's a change or they see someone leaning forward, they might put in the flick or the drive serve.
Just to adapt at the last minute.
Big lead opening up now for the two boys as they stay at home.
Connor better that time on the cross. More ready for that flat drive. Yeah, and taking the pace out. This is better. Constructing the rally a little bit better. Patience for Long. And you know, it wasn't the wrong idea. Just trying a little bit too hard to make it perfect.
Yeah, very, again, similar to Connor earlier, he's on top of the net and makes the easier mistake.
Yeah, good speed by Connor. 9-17.
17.
Let's see if Connor is brave enough to go back to his chop serve, or is he going to do something different? Yeah.
Out. Service over.
You see the turn in the air?
Yeah, it was good. Good to do it. Looked very close from when we were sitting, but Mike O'Mara has called it out. Yeah, good reach by Paul.
19-9.
It's one of the big things as a front court person. You have to really try and cover as much as you can. Only let the shuttles that go past that have to go past. Paul Reynolds with his own chop serve.
Yeah, he returned the favour.
9.
He's going to try it again, do you think?
I
See if
think
there's
he
any
will.
turn on the shuttle. Yeah.
Out. Service
See.
over.
Yeah.
10-20.
Yeah.
You can see he's really turning the shuttle at a different angle before
Yeah.
he serves, so it's quite noticeable that it's going to come.
Oh, just a missed time there.
11-20.
Happens to us all.
So Connor and Long will be delighted now. They're into the double figures, and let's see if they can keep scoring. That one only had one answer. So there we go. Your 2026 National Men's Doubles Champions, Paul Reynolds and Scott GUILDEA. But we have to give Conor Bradley and Long Nguyen a big shout out there on a very impressive tournament. I'm sure they'll be delighted to take the silver on this occasion, and a lot of stuff that they can learn from that final.
Match won by Scott GUILDEA and Paul Reynolds, 21-9, 21-11.
That concludes our men's doubles. One remaining final, and that will be our mixed doubles. Roisin McKenna returning to the court for her second of her national finals, along with Brian O'Mahony, taking on the number one seeds, H.SHOCHAN and M.RYAN. So here's the coin toss for the last of our 2026 national finals, and we have Carmel Griffin, who is on the umpire chair, and we have Michael Mara doing the service judge for this one. Brian and Roisin, very experienced mixed pair. They had a very good season last season together, winning the Autumn Open, the Connacht Premier Open, the Munster Premier Open, and were also semi-finalists in the Leinster Open. So this is a pair that are in form on the domestic scene, Sam. So have performed very well this weekend as well in all of their matches. Roisin extremely sharp at the front. Brian likes to press up on the mid-court and has a good physical presence on court. Up against their #1 ranked international pair, M.RYAN and H.SHOCHAN. But what have you seen so far in both pairings this weekend, Sam?
Yeah, I definitely think Brian and Roisin have been good. They've played all the pairs that are, their rivals on the domestic circuit, starting off with Richard Kong and Laura Heary. They had a very good one there where they dominated the match in 2 sets. Then moving on, they also had pairs around the Kate and Robbie. It was another good fight. 24-22 in the second set, could have gone either way. And semi-final today, obviously, against Ryan and Paige, also very dominant. So they've played well all week, and also like a draw where they've had no easy matches. The tough part is they're up against Josh and Moya, who have looked in very good form from their first match against Erwin, Guan, or O.FLYNN. They played very well. And this morning against Scott and Rachel, they really dominated that match. After a bad start, they went 6-2 down and then took control in every area of the match.
Yeah, I have to say I was very impressed with Brian and Roisin in their semi-final against Ryan Stewart and Paige Woods. I thought Brian especially controlled the mid-court, played very firm. He might have to change this time because he's coming up against someone who's got good forearm strength than Josh as well. But it'll be interesting to see if they can challenge Josh and Moya in certain areas of the court.
And on my left, Brian O'Mahony and Roisin
it'll be similar to the match before. They're going to have to settle early and get used to the pace of Josh and Moya.
To serve to Brian O'Mahony.
And see, do they have the solutions for the pressure that's going to come?
Play.
Very good serve from Moya to start the game. Yeah, Moya just eating that one up. Thought Moya played extremely well in the semi-final this morning, controlled the net well, served very well, and in a very controlled game in the semi-final against Scott and Rachel.
Very composed, always serves and gets on the third shot quite well, and then Josh follows up.
That's good energy from Roisin McKenna there.
Service over.
Help settle the nerves, get the first point on the board.
That's the one thing that I've noticed even in the ladies doubles. Roisin does very well. She her serve. She serves tee, she serves body, she can serve cross, and she's actually consciously thinking and planning out where she's serving. It's good to see with the young players when they're planning that in their game.
Yeah, the commentators cursed she missed that one, but yeah, good variation so far from Roisin. Definitely a good weapon to have, keep people guessing where you're going to serve.
Yeah, good power from Josh, and Moya just taking the
4-2.
speed out of the shuttle at the net.
Definitely an area they're going to have to think about when Josh is attacking. He hits it hard, but he also has good cut variation. Those ones against tape.
Yeah, the big difference here, and I was speaking earlier with Michael Mara about it, is in all of the previous games, Brian's been able to outdrive all of the players that he's played in the mid-court and using big power and lots of flat, fast early drives. Where he's going to struggle this time is he's coming up against someone who can turn the shuttle back against him, and that's where he's going to have to try and find a gap.
Service over.
Yeah, very
3,
close line call there, but
5.
great shot by Roshin.
Yeah, Roshan really hunting the net early on at that time. Great to see.
There's a cut smash for Josh. Hard to
Service
get
over. 6,
height on it again, so it
3.
makes an easy kill for Moya. This is where I think Josh and Moya are most dangerous, when Moya's serving, tucking the shuttle down, and Josh being on the next shot early.
Another person that varies the shuttle very well. It's a
7,
slight move in the foot
3.
there by Roshan before Moya had struck it, but not called on this occasion. Another good cross body serve.
Service over.
Really good there by
4,
Brian, finding that
7.
soft control, but the most important thing, he's getting it close to the net, so it really limits what Josh and Moya can do.
I think this is the area of the game that Brian needs to do a lot of
Service
work on.
over.
When people
8,
play below level
4.
tape with no speed on the shuttle, he's still trying to inject speed and trying to rather than challenge back. So if
9,
there is one thing
4.
that he can go away and work on, that is definitely the area of the game that will make the biggest difference for him.
So important to have good solutions when you're late on the shuttle against good opponents.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of the most underestimated
4.
parts of the game is that control below tape level, and you see at the very, very top level the players that do that well. Of course, we're all trying to be early and take the shuttle early, but against the quicker and better opponents, you are going to be below level tape, so you have to have solutions. You see again when Brian is late on the shuttle and Josh turns it and he has to change direction. The lift isn't good enough, and then Josh is just able to power through.
Yeah, so far as expected. And I think also same as Long, Connor in the match before, is when you play against the better pairs, when you play a good shot, a good shot normally comes back, where you play that maybe the rounds before you play a good shot, you get a winner or you add pressure. And it's just getting used to that higher pace.
So there, got Eugene McKenna on the coach's chair again. As we spoke earlier, Eugene has
20 seconds.
won a number of
20
national titles,
seconds.
both in doubles and mixed, so they'll be getting good advice there in this one.
Yeah,
11,
good
4.
calming presence for them at the
Play.
back. I think they're going to need to just stay settled. Great shot by Josh.
Good challenge by Roshan. I know she didn't get there early,
Service
but
over.
because Moya had so much work to
5,
do, she
11.
made her do something with the shuttle that time.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that can be enough, you know, just make them be creative.
Yeah, and again, she's just doing that simple thing, laying off. Yeah, that's really good moving the shuttle on defense.
Service over.
I think the smart play there by
12,
Moya was she took her
5.
time, she left it across and made Brian really chase after it.
Another good serve. It's massive, and
13,
you know, Sam, from your
5.
career playing it at the top level, having a partner that can step up and not only serve but vary their serve like that, it's really lets you concentrate on your job. And I
14,
think that's what Moya's been doing
5.
so well here, and Josh has, you know, also fulfilled his part of the job.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit easier then for Josh when the shuttle's always coming slightly up to him off Moya's serve, or Moya's tucked down off the serve. Gives him a lot more
15,
variation.
5.
But a dominant display here so far.
Important now for these two to stay calm. Every point they can get here for the second set is crucial for them.
It's a great opportunity for these players that are competing throughout the year domestically,
Service
then to get
over.
a chance to play against
6,
our top
16.
pairs who are out there on the international circuit. So, you know, Brian and Roshan can go away from this event and watch this back, thanks to the streaming provided by Mr. Phil McCullough. and learn a lot from this match. And then make a plan and sit down and say, okay, these are the areas we can be better in.
Yeah, it's crucial. You can't.
Service
There's no way
over.
around it. You got to feel that pressure.
17-6.
Feel that pressure from more experienced players. And as I said earlier, like when that shuttle keeps coming back, this is stuff you can't really get in your normal training.
18-6.
And you can see the difference when Brian injects the pace into the midcourt now, rather than Josh like trying to drive hard through him, he just probes it down below net, and Brian's struggling because he's never above tape level.
That's always hard place to be.
That time was much better. You see, he just did that simple straight layoff in front of Moya, rather than engage in the midcourt battle with Josh. Like again there, he's trying to force it with speed, and Josh is just changing the direction.
19.
So every time he forces with speed in the midcourt, Josh just has to change it left or right, and then it's very difficult for him to get the next shot.
Yeah, I think it's similar what Josh did well this morning against Scott and Rachel. Was when they engaged on flat, he moved it quick out over the other side,
Game
and
point.
only engaged when he was on top and the percentages were in his favour.
You see then when Brian did try there off return a serve to try a soft return because he's not used to it. It was quite loose, and then Moya's just able to
First
step
game
down
won
and
by
kill.
H.SHOCHAN and M.RYAN, 21-6.
So a dominant display there, 21-6 from Josh and Moya, and Eugene will have some work to do with the players to try and get them just to maybe switch things up. Like what we said, you know, with Connor, where they got that 3 lovely by trying to do something different with the serve or the return of serve, but just not playing the pattern out for another full game.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've seen, we're quite close to the coach's chair here, and Eugene was urging them to get higher up the court, which will be a good start where they have to fight for that initiative on the front court, and then they'll have more options. But the problem has been when they have stepped up, Josh has been able to drive it past them or play it out over the other side towards the back court. So it's going to be a tricky to find the solutions here to get into the rallies.
Yeah, and that's one thing. You've seen that 2 or 3 times where Brian pressed hard, Joshua left it out over Roisin. So is the solution, if Brian's going to continue to that, for Roisin to step out a little bit, or is Brian going to have to try and move that little bit quicker side to side to try and get the next shuttle down somewhere, it's not just stepping in on it. But a few adjustments that they can make here, and it'll be interesting to see what they switch up, or do they change anything dramatically in the second game.
I think that's the hard part, is when Brian's driving, Josh has the racket speed, arm speed to play it out over the other side, which the players they would have played in the rounds before mightn't have had that option available to them.
So the Nationals, of course, really good support from our sponsors, the Carton Hotel, Blanchardstown, and Victor Sport. Very supportive of the event, and have helped make this the showcase event that it is. That was a good effort from Brian again, but normally that's the one that's not coming back when he's playing the other guys at the domestic level, but Moya's just ready for that drive.
And then Josh just stepping forward, taking that little bit of risk.
Yeah, again, you see the difference on this side. Even though Roisin is maybe on top of it, Josh is still trying to do the right thing, find the gap rather than trying to drive through with speed. Good return from Brian, and a good racket ready.
Service over, 1-2.
I think Roisin has done well here. She stayed calm. She's sticking to her task, where Brian has maybe got a little bit more frustrated. Good change of serve again.
Yeah.
Service over, 3-1.
Good turn from Josh. Yeah, that's better from Brian. Yes, much better. Even though on a second push Moya cut it out, it was still the right idea, because if he tries to play with too much speed, Josh is going to soak that up. So that was a good change of play from Brian that time.
Yeah, good turn off.
Service over, 4-2.
So here we are, 4-2.
Really good defense with Moya there. He's going the full width of the court.
5-2.
Falling down as they got to it.
best from Brian. Good change of pace again. Lucky from Roisin, she just needed to be a little bit more ready there.
2.
That's the right time for Brian to play with a little bit of speed because he's above tape level, hitting down. And then the change of pace from the back was good to see.
It's the variation from Josh. He can also play close, but he can also play over the top.
So that's just like that. It's that 5-point margin again built up. A good variation there from Moya across Roisin's body.
8-2.
Just needing to change her grip to try and to deal with that. Good defense.
Service over. 3-8.
Opened up too early there, Josh. Not enough patience on the attack, and well read by R.MCKENNA.
Better by Brian that time. Rather than trying to drive back through Joshua, he just changed the direction on it.
Yeah, very smart. And
4,
good again.
8.
Have to praise Roisin for the change of serve wide, especially serving to Josh. Being brave, getting in the variation. Be nice to see now maybe a flick from Roisin to mix it up again. That's why I think if you play into Moya on the low,
Just
Service
super
over.
loose by Brian there as well.
9.
she can get very comfortable reading those shots.
Yeah, good probe. Well done by Moya.
10-4.
Yeah,
11-4.
Really high
Interval.
level. That's something that Moya does really well. She just pushes it down against tape.
Both fulfilling their roles very well. Moya like really controlling the front court, and Josh is playing a very high press onto the mid court, and you know, it's something now that Roisin and Brian have to be very conscious of, that when Moya's there and she's looking to hunt the press and maybe just pushing just through her, but not trying to force it with speed so that Joshua can soak it up.
20
So
seconds.
a tough challenge
20
when
seconds.
these two are doing their job so well. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do.
I think in the last couple of rallies too,
11-4.
when Josh and Moya didn't play good quality, they didn't get punished enough.
Service over.
Free point for them to start off.
5-11.
Yeah, Brian's now, the two last times that they played firm on his body, he's tried
Service
to turn it
over.
in front of Moya,
12.
which has worked better
5.
for him, or at least got them into the rally.
Oh, that's a really good mix by Josh.
Yeah, the one thing
Fault.
I would,
Hit it.
the one thing I
13,
would encourage
5.
Roisin to work on as well is, you know, when Josh and Moya are both playing down the line, that when she's playing straight back the line, she's leaving that cross free.
Yeah, that's
Brian's not naturally got that speed to come up on the cross. She needs to tuck it back to the middle and make them play through
14,
Brian's racket.
5.
Yeah, needs to take the angles away from them.
You can see similar patterns each time they're drawing Roisin out and then just making the quick turn.
Service over. 6-14.
It's good experience for Roisin and Brian. They'll have a tournament in a couple of weeks' time in Galway. End of year qualifiers.
Yeah, big event, 125, and big prize money, €750 per winner in that event. So it's an event to incentivize the provincial opens, and you know, to
7-14.
reward those who are going around playing the domestic events. So a nice prize for those who come out on top of that.
Absolutely, and it'll be similar to the rounds they had here this week. Played against those pairs in and around them on the domestic circuit. And
Service over.
a great reward for the ones that
15,
play all the events
7.
all year round and show their consistency over the full calendar year.
There we
Great
go.
shot, Josh.
16.
Really high technical
7.
level on that one.
So again, when Brian and Ocean are watching this back, that's the kind of shot that we need to see Brian working on, and with Ocean cutting off the angles from the front court. Not always just down the sides, just tucked back to the middle.
7. 18.
18-7. Closing in on defending that mixed doubles title.
Service over. 8-18.
I think the big thing is they've dropped very few points in all rounds this year, which has been very impressive.
Yes, you've seen that across the board.
Service
Maybe
over.
with the guys that are full-time training have been quite efficient going through the rounds at this year's tournament.
Service over. 9-19.
A lot of hard work going on behind the scenes on the day-to-day training to ensure that they're sharp, not only for this event, but for all of the upcoming international events. As we said,
Service over.
a lot of these guys straight
Match point.
onto the plane after
9.
this and off to Azerbaijan for the international challenge event there. Right, a little bit wild from Joshua.
Yeah, good power, really good power with Josh at the end to open up.
So 21-6, 21-9. And that's a wrap for this year's 2026 National Championships. A big thanks to all the volunteers who've put in so much work, to Greg Farrell and the events team for their setup of the event. Phil McKeown on the streaming, all our umpires and service judges who've put in the effort to be here the full weekend. Thanks to all our commentators, to Sam and to Chloe and to Mike O'Mara. And we look forward to talking to you again at the next upcoming events. So we go on now to the presentations. Thanks very much.